Hello! Today we're talking about Ever After as part of the Cinderella movie marathon. That's me doing my best Drew Barrymore doing a British accent impression. I find that when I try to imitate Drew in this movie, it's mostly like a Christopher Walken impersonation, just when it comes out of my mouth. Anyway, welcome everyone. Welcome back to week 2 of the Cinderella movie marathon here at Teacup for One. My name is Matt and I have 2 degrees, and I already kind of gave it away. Tonight we are talking about Ever After, a Cinderella story, the Drew Barrymore 90s spectacular. As I said last week, Cinderella movie marathon is a pretty exciting time for me. It's a very full circle moment because when I first started this channel 5 years ago now, which is insane. Can you believe it? 5 years. Still only have 5,000 subscribers. So let's get on that, people. Mostly me. Matt, make better content. No, one of the first things I did a bunch of videos about Cinderella. And one of the very first videos I did was comparing pretty well all the Cinderella movies we're watching for this marathon. I compared and contrasted them. And that was when I first revisited Ever After as an adult, because it came out. When did it come out? I feel like it was 98. Okay. So I would have been 11. Yeah, so I saw it on VHS shortly after it came out. So this was my 5 years ago was my first time revisiting it as a grown-up, and I didn't care for it. We'll get into it. But this rewatch, I've learned to appreciate it a little bit more. Still don't love it, but I know that's a hot take. There's a lot of good that this movie has going for it as well. And we're going to dive into all of that today, here and now, with some very special guests. Let's bring in the very first one. Look, everyone, it's Lauren.
Hey, how are
Welcome
you?
back. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. And I want to say hi to your mother.
Oh, yes.
It's in the comment section. I saw.
Of course. Oh, along with the cats. I forgot to give a shout out to my mom
and the cats. Yeah, it's in the cats.
Yeah, so Eliza did watch Ever After with us last night, but it's true she wasn't as engaged as with the animated Cinderella because no mice, no cats for the most part. Same with Sabrina. And yeah, my mom loved it. My mom, she just watched it with me because she knew I was watching it, and I didn't exactly hype it up. I was like, it's my least favorite, and she's not named Cinderella. It's not really Cinderella. And then, yeah, no, my mom loved it, as I think do most people. Like, Lauren, where do you fall on the love or not love scale with this film?
I would say that I'm closer to the love scale. I did notice a few things that were kind of wonky, which I'm sure we'll get into, but overall, I still enjoyed it, and I totally got what you were doing with the British accent.
Thank you.
I was like, oh my God, you are totally doing Drew Barrymore. Anyway, yeah, that's a fun part too.
I almost did Drew Barrymore in her screaming voice because she screams a lot in this movie, and it's very much the same. It's like, did you ever love me?
But I love my Drew.
I do. I do too. Oh, for the most part, I love Drew. Apparently, during the writers and actors strike, she was a little. She did some things like crossed some picket lines, which I'm morally conflicted about. But overall, I do love Drew, and even though I don't think it's a great performance from her, I still at the same time really like her in the role, which is a thing I'm negotiating for myself that I don't understand, because I'm like, I don't think it's a good performance, but also I can't imagine anyone else doing it, and you're so right for it, more so than you are not right for it. I don't know. That's how we'll get into it. All right, let's bring in our next guest. You know her, you love her. It's Miriam Kenley, everybody, the Churl Fund. Miriam, it's so good. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. A second. I'm having mic trouble as usual. And it's also bedtime around here. So if you hear some screaming and yelling, that's just children who don't want to go to bed.
So. Love it. I relate.
Here, outside of those two things.
Oh, I'm so thrilled to have you. We discussed Cinderella month last year, and I remember you said, if you do it, I'm there. And I was like, yes. So I'm so happy to have you here.
Cinderella is one of my favorite princesses. I will watch any version, and I typically like any version. There's one exception to that, but you're not covering it, so
we're good.
The Camila Cabello one. It was,
Tina Menzel
yeah, it was
Oh, yeah.
so bad. One of the
angrily
worst
playing
things
the
that,
piano. Yes.
and not even like a fun hate watch. It was truly bad. So that's the only one that I'm like, no. But the Hillary Duff one, why is that not on the list? Oh
I
my
actually haven't
gosh.
seen
Yeah,
Hillary
there were
Duff.
so many. That,
Yeah.
I know, and
you
another one that I don't think very many people have seen that is a staple of my childhood is Hey Cinderella, the Muppet Cinderella movie.
Oh, I
Um,
don't think I've seen that. I would love that.
it's on YouTube. It's literally one of the very first Muppet things ever produced. So Kermit was pretty well brand new to the world. I think he had just been established as a frog. Like previously, he was just a weird puppet. No one knew what kind of creature he was.
Yeah, I've
And
seen
I
the
believe,
Princess and the Frog one.
yeah, it's around
Yeah.
the same time. It was
Okay.
also like it was. Yeah, in my video store, they were side by side, the VHSs, and I always got the Cinderella one. So it's really funny actually. The fairy godmother has this kind of ongoing shtick through the whole show where she's in a nightclub trying to do like magic, like a really bad cabaret magician, and everything goes wrong until finally she does a spell that like accidentally gets her into Cinderella's courtyard. And the whole time she's trying to figure out how to turn a pumpkin into a coach and it doesn't work. It's hilarious. I
Oh
should have
man.
planned it for this. Maybe I still will.
Oh.
It's so good.
Yes.
It's so
We can extend Cinderella month for 2 months, probably.
For
There's so
months.
many.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. I would.
But the Hillary Duff one, you should add at some point. It's great.
Maybe. I
It's a
mean, I
good
do
time.
love Jennifer Coolidge, and we are in her renaissance now. So
100%. Oh man,
We'll
she's so good in that.
away,
It's
so
a good time.
yeah, it is good.
what
Speaking of
was
a
the
good
one
time,
where Billy Porter.
it's Jeanette.
Hello.
Oh,
Oh,
I
the-
did that in an opportune moment. Lauren was saying something. Lauren, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying, which one was the Billy Porter as the
That
fairy
was the
godmother?
bad. That was the
That
one
was
that
the
Miriam was
Camila
saying was
Cabello
bad.
one.
Okay,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, which I love
Yeah.
Billy Porter. I got excited about it too. I was very excited for that. I never did watch it, but I heard it was bad. And so I
Oh,
just
Jeanette,
looked up-
please watch it.
I just looked up the Billy Porter part so I could just see Billy Porter, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
this is all I
like
really
the
needed.
Billy Porter part, but that was
Oh no, did we lose Lauren or did I freeze?
No, I think it's Lauren.
Lauren's back.
There
Oh,
he
We
is.
that's
lost you
weird.
for a minute, but you're back.
huh, must be my internet connection.
There we go. We'll give it a second. It'll even out.
Okay.
Anyway, Jeanette, welcome. So good to see you.
Oh, hey.
So good to see you. I didn't do an opening question. Can you give us your best Drew Barrymore impression from this movie, Jeanette?
Oh God, that's like so compounded. It's Drew Barrymore and it's not British. It's no, I don't know. I don't know that I can because I'm already afflicted with a slight accent of my own, but not very. It's not a deep one. But whenever I try to do other accents, it comes out. When I try to do, you know how? Did you ever see the movie where Paul Rudd tries to do? I think it's a Jamaican accent, and he sounds Irish, or he's trying to do Irish, and he sounds Jamaican. That's me. Like no matter what I try to do,
No,
I
that's
sound
Drew
like
Barrymore in this movie. That's what it
yeah,
is.
exactly. Do you know? Like she's doing like that, but it's not. It's not good. It's not good.
It's not good. It's not good. But anyway, but maybe the movie's good. Who knows? Anyway, let's dive into it. Ever After Night. Here we go. So as always, I always like to open with tell us about your history with this movie before the rewatch. I'll go first because I kind of already dove into it. I definitely remember seeing the movie when it first came out. I would have been 11, probably 12 by the time it was on VHS, and like we rented it because I didn't see it in the theater. And at the time, my little 12-year-old brain was watching this big period piece costume drama thinking, oh, this is like a grown-up adult movie. Oh my gosh, it's so sophisticated and too smart for me. And that's the vibe I held for this film for years. And then like 20 plus years later and like one film degree and one acting degree later, I sat down to rewatch it all excited to watch this costume drama Cinderella film. And I was like, this is just a really bad 90s movie that basically could be taking place in a high school. And yet here it is. And I wasn't vibing with it on my last rewatch. When I looked up that it was the same director as It Takes Two, suddenly everything made sense. The slapsticky nature of it, the way that the score is utilized, the in some ways lack of character development at the expense of quippy one-liners. I was like, this is okay. I see what this is. Yeah. And I've changed my tune a little bit for this. on this rewatch, but we'll get there. Anyway, yeah. Lauren, tell us about your
Yes.
history with this movie.
I was wondering if I was back. I could hear you guys, but I couldn't. You guys were like, "Where is he? Where is he?" Anyway, first of all, making me feel old because I was 29 when the movie came out. But that was a time when I was obsessed with Drew Barrymore because she had made her comeback from her like druggy teens and her hard life. And I just thought that she was so appealing. And so I loved her. I would watch anything that she was in. And I did love this film when I watched it. And I remember loving this film after. I still love it, but I do, and we'll talk about it, but I do find there are parts that are like hokey pokey to me.
I like that. Okie dokie. Nice. Miriam, how about you? What's your history with this movie? I feel like you love this movie. I think you've talked about this on We Like Theme Parks a while ago.
I was 12 when this movie came out, and it was formative, I would say. It was like such a big part of my growing up, and for all, sort of similar reasons. Like, we were all obsessed with Drew Barrymore, at least me and my friends were. It was cool to see someone like go through a hard time, like you said, and then come and be this movie star again. That doesn't happen that often. And I don't know, her like beauty in this movie felt attainable too. Like, they didn't cover her in makeup. Like, everything was like pretty natural. And so when the scenes that she is wearing makeup, it like impressed upon me like in such a big way. Like, I'm thinking specifically, there's one outfit she's wearing and she has like it's at the end when the stepsister and mother are in the court, she's wearing this like yellow like golden eyeshadow, and I just wanted to look just like that all the time. I just thought, and like the costumes in this movie, life changing. I mean, you guys all know I'm a Ren Fair queen. I love all that, and that's what these costumes felt like to me. And sorry, someone's trying to break down my door at that time. So I'll wrap it up just saying, yes, there are some really cheesy parts to this, but it also, I don't know, it's the first like Cinderella where they like were giving her a message more than just we met at a ball and fell in love, and that was pretty cool, honestly, for a Cinderella story. And yeah, there's a meme out there that's like, what radicalized you, and so many of my friends put this movie. And I'm like, yeah, it's true, it did like radicalize a whole generation, I think. And I'm gonna mute for just a minute.
Okay. And Jeanette, how about you?
My overall thoughts or like first impression of this movie originally?
What's your history? What's your history with Ever After?
I think you and I have an extremely similar path with this movie. I remember watching this movie and thinking it was like one of the best things ever on film whenever I was a preteen, and then like watching it again in my teens and being like, oh, this is still stunning. Drew Barrymore, look at her. Oh my God, look where she's come. She's done, Never Been Kissed and Charlie's Angels at that point. And then I didn't watch it for a long time, and I just had this very nostalgic view of it. And then I rewatched it, and I think I'm kind of where you are. Where I'm like, okay, some of this seems, I don't like this man as much. The man bothers me a little bit now. I don't care for him. I kind of, maybe because he's not like a big deal. I don't know who he is now. Maybe if he was somebody cool now, I'd be way cooler with it. But I'm like, who's this guy? I don't know. Who's this schmuck? I don't know. I don't like this guy. Yeah, I don't know. So there are parts of it now where I'm like, but then with the Drew Barrymore, yes, the accent, for the first time ever in my life, the accent was distracting on this watch.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to say to Drew's credit, but in sort of her defense, that was a through line for me with this whole movie, were all the accents. I mean, it was just kind of an inconsistency with, are we in France? Why are some of you British and why are some of you American?
Well, aren't we in France? Why are you British? Also, isn't Cinderella German?
No,
I thought Cinderella was a German story. It's a French story?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what? Are we in France? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Oh no, I disappeared. Am I back?
Oh, there you
You're back.
I
are.
faded
didn't
away.
get to do my impression of Drew Barrymore.
Oh, wait, I'm back. There we go. Sorry, what'd you say, Lauren? Something about Drew Barrymore?
I didn't get to do my impression of Drew Barrymore.
Oh, let's see it. Let's hear it. Let's see it.
Was there ever a part of you that loved me?
Who can love a pebble in their shoe? That was more Kate Blanchett. Anyway. All right, yeah. So how is this movie held up for everybody? Let's dive into there. We've kind of segued there, but yeah, I think since I went into it telling myself that I didn't like this movie, I found more to appreciate in it because it like exceeded my expectations, which were very low. I do really appreciate that, kind of as Miriam said, it gave more purpose to the central, like the Cinderella-ish character. Like I think Danielle on paper is a really compelling character. I really do love the dynamic between her and the stepsisters, especially like when it gets feistier, when they like start fighting, because that's kind of one of my big things with a lot of Cinderella adaptations is being really frustrated with Cinderella putting up with as much as she does. So I really like that this movie maintains a pretty traditional Cinderella narrative while still giving us a much more relatable depiction of somebody who's living with like awful people. So seeing them get their due before she like is in a position of royalty is really satisfying. But for me, really the standout, I think always, but especially on this rewatch, is Jacqueline. Jacqueline. Like I think
Oh, Lipinski?
yeah, I think she's the best part of this movie. I think it's the best performance acting wise. And I'll stand by that, better than Angelica, who I think does a good job. I think this is the first time we really had a Cinderella adaptation that made one of the sisters relatable and an ally. I'm not sure if that's the case, but that's kind of become a norm going forward with Cinderella adaptations. Like the last Broadway adaptation of the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical really leaned into that, where there's one that's a friend and like is more sisterly, and then there's the one who's more traditionally wicked. So for this movie to more or less pioneer that in such a compelling way, I think is really respectable. And I think, the actress she nails it. And her accent, even though she's not actually British, I think she's from New Zealand. I mean, close enough.
Yeah,
but
she is.
Pulls off the accent. And
she's great. She's done so many accents in her career.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Love her.
Was she in what is that movie that with Kate Winslet? Was that her?
Yes, it was. I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the movie.
Titanic.
But
The Reader. Avatar 2, Way of Water.
no,
no, it was like
she's the
But see, this is it. She's been in a movie with Kate Winslet. She's been in this. She's been in 2.5 Men. She's also in Yellow Jackets. Like she's ridiculously versatile. It's crazy.
Yeah, she's not someone whose career I've really paid attention to. She just is kind of always there. But revisiting this movie is just.
But I'm a cheerleader. She's in that too. Oh my god!
Like I want to watch all these things now. I want to watch everything with her because she was just so good in this. So she was the main standout for me, and I just think what's interesting to me about this movie is that it seems to really hinge on this idea that they're like it's more than a fairy tale. Like the last line being, yes, they lived happily ever after, but the important thing is they lived. And it's like, no, they didn't. It's still what you gave me is no more realistic than the actual fairy tale. And I think it'll be interesting to compare this to the Kenneth Branagh Cinderella movie, which is more traditionally fantasy-esque and more whimsical and magical. But I think the performances and the acting and the characterization is much more grounded and realistic and compelling. So, and like, I think it's everything that this movie is trying to be. In some ways, this movie feels to me like fan fiction with a really good budget and really beautiful costumes. Anyway, Miriam, how's it hold up for you?
I still love it. I still think it's a great time. It's definitely fan fiction, but it's nice that we kind of like got fan fiction that makes Cinderella like a little less shallow. And I'm not saying that Cinderella is shallow, but the way she's written sometimes, like, I, okay,
All
you're just
those
gonna put
old
up with
princesses
abuse
are,
all the
yeah,
time and never ever, and like, yes, kindness always. That's why she's one of my favorite princesses. But like, we also don't need to like put up with abuse. So
Right.
it's nice to like see that get flipped a little bit here.
Well
So at least it's fan fiction in the right direction and not like
Mhm.
taking more of her autonomy.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
Yeah. Lauren, how did it hold up for you on this rewatch?
I like I said, I still loved it. I think the thing for me though was like when I was trying to remember this movie, I was like, who was the fairy godmother in this movie? And then I was like, oh my god, it's Leonardo da Vinci.
yeah.
I feel like I feel like it was all so that he could say the line, I'm gonna be remembered or something like I'm gonna be remembered for opening the door. And
Yeah, the
Yeah.
man who opened the door. Hmm.
yeah, that was the part that didn't hold up for me. I understand that they were trying to do a grounded, Cinderella, but it was just too like Leonardo
Yeah.
da Vinci. It
Yeah,
really,
maybe putting
for me, it's
such a
the
famous
boat
artist
shoes.
in this was not
Yeah,
it,
Walking on
the
water.
boat shoes. Yep. Hmm.
yeah, and I just thought, if anything, they should have picked like some woman in his, something that kind of goes along, along the same lines. But overall, like I still enjoyed it. I still love Drew Barrymore. Um, I I agree. The prince is kind of, but
Yeah.
I Jacqueline, again, love the fact I thought, oh, this is kind of interesting that I didn't remember this, that she was kind of more of a sympathetic character. So I thought that that was a cool part. Angelica Houston, I love Angelica Houston, but I felt like she was be trying to be over the top, you know, um, like wicked stepmother, and I felt like there was a part where they were trying to make her more human, like the part where um, uh, Danielle is combing her hair, but they
Yep.
never went anywhere with that.
No, she ends up being like really snotty at the end of that monologue, or not monologue, but like that little like back and forth that they have
Yeah,
there. That's really private. And yeah, I always thought that was kind of odd how they ended that.
Is that the
yeah,
scene when it's like, you look so much like your father? Really? Yes, your features are so masculine.
yeah. So
That, and I
that,
think she ends that conversation with something like, I don't know, she ends it with one of those like backhanded, undertoned insults. And it's like, and they could have stopped at the line before that, and it would have actually given us like a little bit of humanization, a little bit of love.
I
yeah,
think honestly, to me, that line where she pulls it back in and goes back to mean mode, I think it's kind of actually interesting because I feel like she broke down her walls a little bit to like let Cinderella in or
mhm,
Danielle in. And then by doing that, it's like, nope, just kidding. Like, let me put my wall back up. So I kind of think it was necessary. Like, you
mm,
can see the emotion in her eyes because I do think she did see Danielle's father in her and not in the masculine way. And then she didn't want to show that emotion. So she throws in the mean comment. So
yeah,
actually, I did kind of enjoy. I feel like it was stilted and stopped at a certain point on purpose.
Mhm. Oh, I,
yeah,
I agree. I think, to my mind, my reading of the movie is like, I fully agree. And I think that's a testament to Angelica Houston and
Mm-hmm.
like just being a really good actor working with, in some parts, a very subpar script. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that really shines in that moment, because I almost feel like she's wasted in this movie in some ways, because I feel like there's so much potential in a Cinderella adaptation for the stepmother. I think that's a really interesting character.
mhm,
And I think most adaptations really nail it. And for a movie that is so much diving into like the reality of it and trying to make these real people, and like that's like, again, what this movie ends with, which like they lived. She feels so superficially written in a way that
Mhm.
it feels like such a waste of the performance Angelica Houston could have given us.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Jeanette, have you told us how it holds up for you? I feel like you kind of
Uh,
did.
kind of, yeah. I mean, like, so here's the like the I guess the more specific part of how it holds up, like over time. I don't find it dated like, oh, this is a bad movie. I find it dated like, oh, this is a '90s movie.
Yeah.
It's very like it
It's a
has this feel
specific
about it.
brand.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it also like this pacing and timing of the dialogue and everything, but also like what they were trying to sell us. Like you can tell this movie was supposed to sell me and Miriam a specific look when we were 12 years old. Like we were
Mhm.
supposed to see this movie and go to Claire's and go, "Oh, I want this forehead charm thing,
Yes.
and I want these fake braids that I just clip into my hair, and I want all this jewelry, and I want every face glitter you can possibly sell me, and my if I go on a date when I'm 13, this boy will be destroyed for a week." Like it's bad. Like, they it worked. And like I said, like I think I mentioned this
It's
last week
still
when I was
working.
talking about Ever After. I don't know if I was talking about this or not, but like it really, no, I was actually, when we were talking, if you go listen to our episode of We Like Theme Parks tomorrow, you can hear it. But like this time period of Smashing Pumpkins, moons and suns and stars and blue crushed velvet and white linen and all these things that are
Yeah,
just this
listen.
like very perfect feel that we wanted at that time, and they were going to sell us.
This is not the same subject at all, but this is giving Empire Records, but period piece, you know?
That time,
Like-
yeah, exactly. Like it is that time period, and they knew what buttons to push. They
Mhm.
knew what it was going to sell us. They knew we were going to go rent this movie at Blockbuster for sure. Like put that cover on it. Like that.
Yeah.
That's how it's dated to me. So like that's a good dated to me. That's like a nostalgia dated. So it's fine.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, everything you said is just yes. Like
Yeah.
it felt very, very 90s in a way that like is easy, I think, to identify now that we weren't, or at least I wasn't super aware of at the
Even
time.
just 10 years ago, I don't think it was that easy to put the finger on that and go, it was that. It's that time period. It's that feel. Like now, like the farther out we get from it, yeah, it's easier to identify what that little time capsule feel is.
Listen, I was watching today and I was like, I need a pearl hairnet. I just need one. Like,
And they
Well,
sold
so
those
it's still
Hot
working.
Topic, Claire's. They all
Yeah.
sold those things, and they were like on a clip, and you could put them over your bun. And
Yeah. The pearl hairnet in the scene where she's saving her servants. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Still
Well, to
so
be
beautiful.
fair, every movie is a product of its, era.
Marketing, yeah, or an era, yeah.
I was, in my mind, I was kind of comparing it to Pirates of the Caribbean, which would have been like roughly 10 years later, as to my mind,
Yep.
a successful period piece that to me doesn't feel super like maybe it will. 10
Honestly,
years
not
from now.
even 10 years later. It was like
Yeah.
5 years.
It was 2004. I remember. I was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
Wow,
so
that's even later
pretty
than
close.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to me, Pirates holds up in a, like I feel like it's well made in a way that it feels.
I don't know.
No?
I think if
Like, it
you look
doesn't feel
back on it
super
now, you should
2000.
rewatch it. And it does have a very specific early 2000s flavor to it. I don't know why. Maybe
Right.
just because I know that's when it came out. But like, I think if that movie were made now, they would even be doing the costumes different. They would have like
Oh, for
Jack
sure.
would be totally
For
different.
sure. And
Yeah.
again,
So-
I think to your point, like I remember like the fashion at that time. Again, like if I'm going to talk about where I was shopping, at that time, if you walked in Hot Topic, there was a lot of knee-high striped socks. There was a lot of pants that went to like mid-calf. It was very pirate-esque. It was very pirate influenced, and it was like
Was that before
was
the movie
what
came
they
out,
were
or was
selling
that
us.
because of the movie? Because Pirates was
was-
definitely like
it
it
was-
had an impact.
It was a cultural phenomenon, but like I don't think they were selling stuff like that like really in the mainstream prior to that. Like I remember getting dressed up for the first movie and not being able to find things to wear because they didn't. And then like literally by the next movie, it was like, oh,
It's
there's
everywhere.
just stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
So then, do we feel like Ever After was the same reason? Like did the same thing with like you could get the things at Claire's because of Ever After, or was Ever After's aesthetic following just kind of what was
It was following
Common?
because that
Yeah.
aesthetic was big from like 94, 95 until
Okay.
like 98, I would say. And this is what, 97 we said this comes out?
98?
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, okay. So like, yeah, it was around that time. It was, you still were very in that like soft girl era, that we hadn't moved into that like late 90s, more like rock thing, I think. I don't know if
The
Miriam
pirate.
agrees with that. Yeah.
Or it's flipped, like early 90s, I feel more right.
Yeah, there was a period in the middle though, I feel like that got
Yeah.
was very like whimsical, celestial, mythical, like yeah.
Right. Well, and I'm thinking like, because this is like a sort of like so the year before Titanic came out. So I feel like this was the next version of like everything we went crazy for in that movie. So I do think
Romance
Titanic
was very
walked so
big.
that this movie
Yeah.
could run.
Romance was huge at that time.
Yeah, but
for
like
sure.
again, like with the Titanic fashion, like obviously we weren't wearing like early 1900s period piece clothes, but it was definitely we were pulling things from that, like
Red velvet and
yeah,
burgundy
and the
colored
I
hair.
remember like because I would
And-
get
yeah.
I would get all the I was 11 when that movie came out, but I would get all the like teenager magazines, and they're showing all the prom dresses, and they were very much like empire waist, like Titanic, not like with the sleeves and stuff. They would usually have a spaghetti strap or something. And then the next year was this one. So you were having a lot of like Renaissance flavors in the dresses and things like that.
So much. Like, yeah,
Would've been
this movie,
funny
I
if
would
they
say,
came with like a giant purple hat like Kate wore at the beginning.
I wanted that hat though. Like,
but ever after, honestly, I feel like was culturally impactful hugely.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know a girl in my generation that hasn't seen it. And to be honest, I don't know a person who hasn't seen it. Like, every guy I've known knows what I'm talking about if I bring up Ever After.
I don't even know that many girls who didn't like this movie. To be, like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. This had
Yeah,
a big,
my memory of this
big
movie
impact.
was like it was like the Spice Girls. It was a thing I didn't understand, but I knew was really popular.
Mhm.
I just like, okay, I'm happy. You're happy.
Mhm.
Enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah. Granted, I was kind of pushing against all mainstream things when they were listening to all the popular music. I was like, I'm rocking out with Buddy Holly and the Crickets over here. So, because I went to go see the Buddy Holly story. So there you go.
Hey, that's also one of my favorite movies. So
It-
I'm right there with
solid one. We've kind of this is actually a good segue because I really did want to talk about the costumes for this film because they are so good, and I was well, I guess not surprised. It makes perfect sense, but I was pleasantly excited to see that they were done by Jenny Bavin, the Cruella costume designer, among so many other things, like multiple Oscar winner, and like her work, it holds up. Like definitely there is, I think, as we've touched on, a cultural influence to when it was made, but I still feel like you can look at that and it just looks like so beautifully, perfectly period. Like you could just look at a still image and it's so good. But I would love to hear, like, Miriam, I'd love to hear your costume assessment as the Renaissance queen, but also like the Disney bound costume queen. Like what are your thoughts on the costumes?
Oh my gosh, the costumes in this movie are some of my favorites in any movie. They are so beautiful. I'll just cut straight to her ball gown. I wanted that dress so badly. Like everything about it, it's like the perfect color. The silver in it is like so pretty. The wings, oh my gosh, when they get destroyed, that like it like hurts me because they're the most perfect wings I've ever seen in anything. I feel like I'm constantly chasing the look of that dress when I go to like Ren Fair or any of those. Like that's what I want to look like. And then, like I said, that like perfect white makeup that she had on in this, so beautiful. The beginning, like I said, the pearl hairnet like really made a huge impact on me. She has this one red velvet dress that's like, the sleeves are kind of detached from one another and they kind of tie at the elbow. Obsessed with that. Even, I mean, the Mean Stepsisters dresses too. Love those. Like she was always in like a big puffy sleeve and velvets and things like that. Top to bottom, some of my favorite costumes in any movie. Even her like day dress, like when she's a servant or whatever, it's like the way it's worn in is so perfect, and you can tell like it's taken care of, but she has to wear it so often, and I love everything about all of it. I don't know what else. The only thing I'll say, I hate these shoes. Oh my god, I hate them. They are my least favorite Cinderella shoes. They are so ugly, and sure, they're probably period accurate, but I hate them. Like, what is that shape? The like jewels on they just look cheap and tacky, and I just really
can we
hate
talk
them.
about how when he puts it on her at the end, she's also wearing a freaking like poo brown sock, and I hate the fact. I'm like, what? Can we not just have? I don't care if she's got a dirty foot. I don't, or put
take
white
the sock off.
white sock on her. But what is this weird? Like, again, maybe period accurate. I don't care. I don't want my Cinderella shoe going on this woman with this nasty looking sock on her foot.
Yeah, it's nasty. But hideous shoes to go with the hideous socks. So there you go. And then a movie that is like basically about a shoe. Oh, and we didn't get that right. Come on.
They did not really. It does seem like they did not go in on the shoe. Like they
sure didn't. Other than like,
more
look at these shoes. Let me tell you this story that you didn't ask for. Yeah.
And not on the
shoe.
It
looked like a crumpled. It looked like a crumpled sandal.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie.
Yeah, like. I was like, was that in his pocket? Like, why is it crushed? And like,
there's just so much going on.
Yeah. It looks like, you know, those shoes they sell at like Boardwalk or like beachside stores that have like the cheap, like little stones sewn into the top, but they're made of like plastic mesh.
Yeah.
It looked like those.
Yeah.
Except wasn't the heel just like unembellished and just glass? That's what threw me off.
And it's a freaking kitten heel too.
Like, kitten heel.
Can this be flat or can it be a heel? Can you pick? Kitten heels annoy me. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. And just like, I don't know, the book was so important to her, and your book, your father's book or your mother's shoes, like, I'm probably picking the book. Those shoes are awful. Also, she's vain. She's not going to put the shoes in the fire. Like, come on. Take the book. Let her be a jerk about the shoes, you know?
Except she did pick the book though, didn't she? She gives the shoes back.
She did.
Marguerite's
I forgot about that part. I mean,
she picks the book, but they throw it in the fire. But yeah. Also at the end, do we know that anyone knows where the other shoe is? Because he only has that one shoe. Do we know that anyone has the other shoe now?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Actually, they don't really say like she walks home in shame in just one shoe, presumably.
Well, how does the movie start? Does the lady Danielle's presumably great something granddaughter? She only has one? Okay. Yeah. I don't know what happened to the other one.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They literally show him spinning her around in a big like mud patch with one shoe on, and I'm like,
yeah. Well, presumably she wasn't allowed to bring the other shoe with her into her enslavement.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
What happened to it? Like, go back home and get it. Maybe the stepmother threw it away. I don't know.
She probably sold it.
Yeah.
The shoe was also an issue for me, not only because of the look, but also because of its role in the story. You know, the main Cinderella myth. He doesn't know who she is, so he finds her by putting the shoe on her foot. But it was at the end. It's like, well, what was the point of him putting the shoe on her foot when he already knew that's who it was? You know, so that was one of the things that remembered that bothered me about the movie was the fact that the shoe didn't have the role that it should have had.
No.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it was just there to check a box of like, it's a Cinderella movie. There has to be a shoe. Whereas, it could have just done so much better. Like this plot, I think would have been so much stronger just if the shoe was present, but like it wasn't, they didn't have the moment. Like we didn't have to see it go on the foot. Like, I know that you expect that in a Cinderella movie, but like you also expect the ball to be magical, and they subverted that by having it be a like horrible, humiliating moment for her, which I really actually like. That's a subversion of expectation. So I think they could have done well to do something similar with how they treated the shoe, but they didn't. So,
yeah.
There it is. Yeah, costumes. I feel like I had something else to say. Oh, just that I like Angelica Houston's hat. She wore some really good hats.
She does wear very nice headpieces in this film.
Yeah. Yeah, she has. Yeah, I think her costumes just across the board solid, and I love the design of Danielle's regular peasanty garb, like the frock or whatever it is, the green situation.
Mhm.
Like it's so simple, but I feel like it's a design that has like is instantly iconic in terms of like this is identifiable as like this is Danielle, like almost in the way how like Disney princesses have their look that's very identifiable just by like the shape of the garment or whatever or the color. Like I feel like Jenny just put together a look that was instantly like, yes, this is it. Like that's
Yeah.
why the lady has all the Oscars. So,
Can I want to ask Miriam, what did you think about the hair in this movie? And then also, I have to ask, was Drew Barrymore's hair in this movie the majority of the time a wig, natural, or natural with extensions? 'Cause I could
I
not tell.
think natural with extensions. I
Okay.
think her hairline was definitely hers, and well, I don't know. I go back and forth. It could have been a combo. Like some of it, I think maybe when it was down, I think that was partly her hair with extensions. When it's up, there's so much volume in some of those looks that I'm just like, it's enhanced in some way for sure.
Yeah.
The hair in this movie, transformative. I love everything about it. Again, I'm so sorry to keep talking about the pearl hairnet, but the pearl hairnet with the braid holding it in place,
Yeah.
I wanted to look like that. I can't impress upon you enough. And like,
Well, wait,
sometimes-
Romeo and Juliet was around this time too, right?
It was
That
a
was
few years
96,
before.
yeah, and I've
97?
already
Yeah.
told you about that halo. I cannot figure out
I
to this
mean,
day. It's
They knew who they were talking to. They knew their crowd
Yes.
at this time. They were like, "Sell this look.
yeah,
We
and
will do so
I
good."
also I do feel like it turned the tide of bringing braids back because braids got real cheesy there for a while, and I feel like I don't know how to describe it other than that braid culture just like got strange. I don't know. And so then you have this movie and they're bringing braids back in a way that feels like, oh, this is like, again, they're marketing to like 11, 12-year-olds. So you're like, oh, this is how teenagers look. Like
Yeah.
I need to start doing that to my
We
hair to
thought
look
all
older.
the girls,
right?
like between the magazines and the movies, we thought 18-year-old girls dressed like this
Like
to
Renaissance
go out
queens.
on a
yeah.
Friday
Mhm.
night. Like, yeah. And
Yeah.
I feel like some of them did though. Like that's just my
Not-
suspicion.
I
Did
mean,
they
not
not?
the ones that.
I don't know because I was too young to know what was actually happening in high school.
Yeah.
It was either this or like, oh, they look like Cher Horowitz from Clueless, and I think that's probably closer to the truth. Also, love that. If you ever talk about that movie, another one that changed me fashion wise. But yeah, the hair in this movie, another like honestly, this is one of the things. Looking back when I was in beauty school, I was like, why do I like doing hair? It's movies like this that got me to where I am now. So
Yeah. And it's also just fun to mention Romeo and Juliet because I definitely feel like this in some ways. I don't know why. It feels to me like a spiritual sequel to Romeo plus Juliet.
It
Mhm.
exists in that time capsule of a world, right? Like this time period where this is a thing that people wanted. This whole like feel.
Yeah, it's like 90s meets Renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
Angel wings for some reason at a party.
Mm-hmm.
Always
Mm-hmm.
have to have angel wings.
Always wings.
Yeah. Yeah. Rose is the only one who didn't have wings on the Titanic. But
listen, it was a costume party. Why wouldn't you be in wings?
that's true.
Jack was her
Also-
wings when he's like this.
Also, when she got to run past the stepmother and it like cuts her face, how satisfying.
Oh, I missed that. I love that.
Oh, it's one of the best parts of this movie. What are you talking about? I think it
Well-
was an accident in filming, but they kept it in the movie. Like I think Angelica Houston really
That would
did
be
get
good.
sliced, but it's
Dedication.
cool. And it also shows how structurally cool those wings are still.
Mhm. Speaking of best parts of the movie, how does everyone feel about her father dying in front of her at the beginning, which is not
Horrifying.
something Cinderella movies often show us?
Yeah.
I really respect that they went there, that they
It's really sad.
start this movie off with a bang of like, here's a heart attack, and a little cheesy for him to be like to choose between the women and be like, I love you.
Yeah.
And then dead.
Yeah.
Um,
Probably
It
didn't
is
need to do
weird.
that.
It's a
But-
little weird. But
Yeah.
yeah, the overall the scene I think makes this movie more grounded.
yeah, like I don't know, for all the qualms I have with this movie, I do think it does some stuff really well, and I think that's one of the things that it does well. Like, just because the essence of Cinderella is essentially rooted in like that moment and that tragedy of like, here's this poor orphan girl who had a really loving father. Now he's gone. Now this is who she's left with. So I think to have the gravity of that shown to us, which I can't think of any other Cinderella movies that really do that. Like the one for next week, the Lily James one, it happens off screen. Like they just get the announcement
Mhm.
or the notice or whatever. But I also really appreciate that we get to see them as kids and sit with the fact that she's been living in this situation for 10 years, I think. And they don't outright say it. Another thing that I appreciated about this movie is basically she's lived with Angelica Houston longer than she was with her actual dad since
Yeah.
over 10
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think the dynamic there is really interesting. So I guess all that to say, when it comes to these Cinderella movies, I think a really important thing to factor in is how does the film address the domestic situation between Cinderella and like this horrible family? So how do we feel this movie
I
does that?
do I do think showing the death like of Danielle's father, you also get Angelica Houston's reaction to it, and it isn't like necessarily sadness over him. She
Yeah.
yells out like, "You can't leave me here!" Like you can tell she really made a choice to get married, to like up her circumstances, and now she's realizing it's all gone like that, and that I think
Yeah.
really shows why she's so bitter towards Danielle. It's misplaced, obviously, but like I do think that having the death on screen shows that a little better than other Cinderella movies have. Of like, well,
Yeah.
you
Also,
trapped me in this place now, and now I have even less options than I did before I married you. Kind of.
there was an element to this that I always assumed, and I figured out in this rewatch isn't necessarily said for certain, and now I'm questioning whether it is what I'm thinking it is. Do we think Angelica Houston poisoned him? Like she
No.
killed him?
I don't think so.
No, because I think it was
No,
definitely a heart attack. He kept on like
Yeah, I don't think based on her reaction that she
because
did.
she tells Angelica Houston, like, so the thing that makes me think it is still true, but on this rewatch was she says to Angelica Houston, "Oh, you got to come. You know, it's tradition at the gate. He's gonna wave." And Houston goes, like you think he's gonna wave,
Mhm.
like
Oh, I
she
thought
said,
that she just meant that that's a stupid tradition and I'm
Yeah.
not doing it.
Yeah,
and that was the thing that always made me
what I
think that she did something to kill him. So I don't know.
Mm.
I'd be interested to see if there's an answer to that anywhere online that's reliable. But
Right.
I was like a thing I had always just
People-
assumed in this movie, and I realized this time it's not really certain.
Yeah, like it's not something I would put past the Angelica Houston version of this character, outside of the fact that I think if she was going to kill him, she wouldn't have done it then. Just outside of the fact of like, I think she would have waited for him to bring in more money.
Yeah.
Her whole thing definitely seemed to be economic.
Money and status, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
I
also, I
actually thought that
feel like
that
the
was
movie's
one
not
of
well
her.
written enough to go either way.
What'd you say, Lauren?
Yeah. I was going to say that I also thought that that was one of Angelica Houston's better acting parts. I mean, she's a great actress, so don't get me wrong. But I mean, I felt like it was more like believable that she was upset that she's going to be left there, by herself with this daughter that she's going to be saddled with and all of that. I thought that her acting there was probably the best in that movie.
Yeah. And I think kind of to that point, I'm curious to hear everyone's thoughts about how much do you feel this version of the stepmother actually loved her daughters? Because I think, I don't know, I feel like the more interesting stepmother depictions are the ones where the daughters are like the thing, like they're almost going full Mama Rose of like, I will kill people for these two girls who I absolutely love and will do anything for. Whereas this depiction of her felt very much more, I don't know, selfish, almost like she was using her daughters to benefit herself. And like, since Jack
Yeah.
wasn't as
Yeah.
pretty. For example, she offered less value to her. Ergo, she pushed like, you're just here for the food. I feel like I was missing an element of love for the girls, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's an interesting choice that the film made.
Yeah, it kind of has like a Pride and Prejudice feel. Like the most important thing is for them to marry well. And I think especially because she now pictures herself having nothing after her husband died. Like, my only chance now is if my daughters marry well. And only one basically has a shot at that. So I'm going to put everything into that, but
Yep.
not because I love either one of them. I do think her character was selfishly motivated the whole time.
Yeah,
But I
agree
think
with
that makes her more interesting, and I have to wonder if that's just how mothers were then, you know?
Yeah, I think she was definitely selfish, and at the same time, I think that if any of the girls had tried to leave, she would not have let them. Like
Mhm.
it's one of it's one of those extremely abusive relationships, right? Where it's like not only does she hate them, but she also won't let them go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which is just it's also just so sad, especially since one of the first things Danielle says, like little Danielle, is, what a great day. I'm getting a mother and two sisters all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously, if you know Cinderella, you know it's not going to go that way. But for who these specific characters are, it's even worse. It's so much worse. Yeah, which actually kind of brings me to another thing I wanted to talk about. How does everyone feel about her last moment at the end with the stepmother? So I think that's something that's always interesting to see how adaptations approach that. And I think kind of the norm that we've seen recently with the Lily James movie, and it also carries over literally word for word into the newest Broadway adaptation, is she's like, I forgive you. And there is merit there and there is value there, but going back to, I think, the same vein of what I said I appreciate about this movie, with showing how there's a much more, I think, relatable, feisty side to how she feels about these people. I do love the balance that struck at the end when she like has her final moment with her, and she has that great like mini monologue, or just kind of a line where she says, I'm not going to think about you ever again, but you'll think about me every day.
Mhm.
Bestow upon them the exact same behavior that they've given to me. It's like, that's not necessarily the like good thing to do or the nice thing to do, but it feels so realistic and fair.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's nice to everybody else. I don't think she needs to be nice to these people. So, just gonna say, I feel like they sold her to a man, and like,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
they deserve nothing short of this, you know?
Yeah. Can I say Angelica Houston's like see you next Tuesdayness in that scene with Pepe Le Pew is really like her. That was my favorite acting of hers, was in that scene. She did a lot of up and down looking. And I love that kind of like resting bitch face like acting where you're like, mm-hmm. And I made this deal with you. It's you for all this. And it was very like bitch track, and I loved it. It was great.
Actually, oh yeah, when she says, I think I got the better part of the deal.
Yes, it was just a bunch of shade. Like that whole scene was just Pepe Le Pew and Angelica Houston doing like shade back and forth to each other, and Drew Barrymore doing like straight man acting. I was like, what's going on here? No, like these two are hilarious. Can we just have them in the scene? I really honestly, I wonder if there was a scene I'd love to see on the DVD, if there was like a deleted scene of Angelica Houston and him in a room striking that deal, because that scene is the scene I want. I want to see them two acting, because I love all of that just like nasty, like snidiness. It's great.
Right. Actually, I'm glad you brought up that scene, because I didn't really appreciate it in the moment, but I think it's really important just to make her firmly like an irredeemable character.
Yes. Oh, for sure. It's necessary. Also, without it, this guy, we're like, who is this guy? Like, why is this happening? Like, yeah, I want this scene. I also don't get the whole, she was selling him the stuff, but then she got it. I don't.
Yeah, that
I didn't understand. I was like, what's going on? I don't get it.
I guess in this deal, she got to keep the money and get the stuff back.
Yeah, like she was selling it because they were running. They were poor. Like they were actually poor. They were actually
Yeah.
broke. They
And
were like,
then and then when she needs to fill her house back up, she sells him Danielle.
oh,
Yeah, like I
okay.
think
Yeah,
the
that
I
was a
think
little unclear.
Yeah, so she got
Yeah.
to keep the
Weird.
money and get the stuff back.
yeah, my reading of it was that she was selling the stuff to like first off get the money, but then she was able to use it as an excuse to pay the people less. So
Yep.
she was
Right.
just like
Okay.
basically filling her like bank book from all ends.
Yes.
Yeah, she's a piece of work.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Also, can we make another way that this is a dated 90s movie is somehow I think Drew Barrymore and Melanie Lipinski are the same size in this movie. Yet somehow we're making fat jokes about Melanie Lipinski in this movie. And I'm like,
Yeah.
not fat
Can't
at
stand
all.
that.
Like, I don't know
Mhm.
why we're doing this right now. She's gorgeous. And she's
Yep.
like, what are we doing?
Mhm.
But it is
So
so
why are we
satisfying
making
for her at the end to
jokes?
say, "Mother, I'm only here for the food." For her to throw that
Yeah.
back, like
There were times that I even confused the two of them. Like I'm like, is that Danielle?
Yeah.
Or is that
Yeah,
But
they're
then
wearing-
like, they're like
Mhm.
talking about how beautiful Drew Barrymore is, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're the same size in this movie. They look essentially the same size. I was
right?
like, what are we talking about? This is so weird. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a
the
very
90s
90s
were
thing.
sick for that. Like, because then off screen, all the tabloids were always talking about Drew Barrymore's weight too. And you're like, what are we talking about? Oh my! And
Yeah, I was talking about the 90s. Kate Winslet,
yeah, Kate
and Drew
Winslet,
Barrymore
yeah.
always in
It's
the
horrible.
spotlight for how overweight they were. I'm like, they're literally probably a 2 inches larger waist than anyone that you're not giving trouble. And like, why are we even focusing
Maybe.
on that? But
Maybe
like,
they're
what,
just in bad clothes.
maybe,
Like,
but also like just in general, like, A, why are we bringing it up? But B, like, why we're making these tiny discretions and then assuming that it is so obvious to the general public that we can make jokes based on it and we don't have to explain those jokes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I guess
like
'cause-
on this rewatch, I was like, why are we joking about food? She's
yeah,
what? It's like I don't even get it.
it's bad.
yeah. Although, actually, well, I was like, do I want to defend the movie? I don't know. I don't think I do. I do feel like most of it came directly from Angelica Houston's character, which to
Sure,
me
it
less
is supposed
about-
to be,
I mean,
yeah.
it definitely has the voice of like the era in which it was made, and like of the director, the producer, everything. Like there is that influencing it as well. But I do think that there's a point to be made of like, yeah, they are more or less the same size and look fairly similar, but it has so much to do with how gaslighty the mom is for her.
Yeah,
to
sure.
be like,
It's highlighting the character of the stepmother. Yeah.
yeah, but again, I feel like the stepmother's not that well written. So I think the entire character was just based on like, let's make the most reprehensible person we possibly can and get one of the best actors around right now to play this really underwritten role and like just let her go campy. But she doesn't even go that campy. Well, she kind of does, but the movie, I don't know, the tone is just all off for me with this film. I think that's what my issue is with it. Like it looks like one movie, it feels like a different type of movie. Yeah, there it is. I feel like I had another thing to say. I can't remember.
This guy, you said he did It Takes Two.
Yeah.
I feel like knowing that, I feel like this person like really wanted to be like Chris Columbus or something. Like they really wanted to like have these scenes of like earnest love or romance, like whatever on the screen, and like also have this cute family comedy as well. And they just never got to that point. Like they can't grab that magic. And I feel like we get those cute like, like the for the ads that they used to run at the time, the types of movie ads they would run, like we'd get 5 one-liners that they could show on the screen, right? And then that's like the thing with the I'm the man who opened the door, right? Like that was in every ad for this movie. I remember that to this day. Anytime I see this movie, I'm like, oh yeah, that was in the trailer for sure. I remember that. So I feel like they did things like that back then, and so that they knew they had those things, and then the movie would like, they'd be like, well, we got to fit this in the movie somewhere. And then you also get bad writing around that,
Yeah.
I do think that we can agree to disagree on how good this film is now for the time. I think that they succeeded in telling the Cinderella story for that era, and it really worked, and everybody remembered it. Like
Yeah.
Miriam was saying, that everybody remembers this film. There's got to be a reason why everybody remembers it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think. I don't know, the more I think about my feelings towards this movie, I almost feel like it's frustrating because it feels like a missed opportunity because I think it comes so close to being a significantly better film than it is. I think the script, for the most part, does some really good, interesting things. I think some of the dialogue is really corny in a way that doesn't totally vibe with me, but at the same time, you get like good one-liners like "a bird can love a fish, but where would they live?" It's like I love that. I don't love it in the context of the movie, but also like I love the sentiment. That's great. But yeah, I just feel like I keep going back to my mind, like if Kenneth Branagh had directed this script, I think this movie would have been phenomenal. Like just seeing him
I think
other.
then we would have gotten the movie that we saw. What was the one we watched for Shakespeare Month?
Oh, Much Ado About Nothing.
I think then we would have gotten that movie if
I don't
Kenneth Branagh directed this film.
Well, maybe.
I feel like that's this. I feel like that's this.
I mean, we'll kind of see next week. My weird thing with Kenneth Branagh is I really don't like any of his Shakespeare movies, but I pretty well love everything he did that wasn't a Shakespeare movie, and I don't know why. It makes no sense. That's my hot take, alongside me not liking Ever After, which people are coming for us, or me, I guess, in the comments. But there it is. Actually, one thing we haven't really discussed outside of her accent, let's talk about Drew and how she does as our Cinderella. Like, as I've said, I don't think her accent is that great, and I don't think her acting is anything special, but simultaneously I really like her in this role.
That's
And
how I felt about Ariana Grande and Wicked. This is
See?
exactly the same thing in this movie. I'm like, somehow you're perfect, even though you're not really that good, but you're perfect. I wouldn't want anybody else ever.
Yeah, like I think
in
you
what
could
you're
feel
doing.
her passion for it. Like, just I'm fairly certain she produced this movie, and I think you can see. I
God,
think a
that had
lot
to
of
be
it.
one of the first things she produced, huh?
I think so. Yeah, and I think also I didn't realize that this was probably after she was coming out of her struggles. So it
Yeah.
kind of makes sense to me that like this is a script and a property that she would have found interesting and would have wanted to get behind doing as a showcase vehicle for herself. But I think a lot of the empowerment and the interesting qualities that come with Danielle's character, my assumption is just that came from Drew's impact or influence on this film. And I think those are like some of the better qualities of the movie, which is a thing that I appreciate about her. Again, I don't think the acting is that good, especially when he's like, "You're so passionate." When I'm watching him, like she just yells, she screams a lot, and it sounds the same. Like, is she that passionate? I don't know, but yeah, I feel like the heart is there. But how does
Oh my
everyone?
God. Can I break a news story about the
Let's go.
producer of this film? Okay, it's not Drew Barrymore.
Did Harvey
But-
Weinstein?
It's not, no.
Good.
But one of the two producers is a person named Mirel Soria. If I'm pronouncing that name wrong, I'm sorry. But the film that they immediately did before this, because this is their first major feature film that they produced. Before this, they did TV movies, 3 of which I don't think any of us would know. 1 of which all of us should know, and it was a Disney Channel original movie, and it was Under Wraps. That was what they produced before this film.
Honestly, it's all on brand.
I was like, what? Is that for real? Oh my God. And then, yeah, the other person had only produced 1 film before this, and it was the year before it. And the year after it, Miriam, the other person, Tracy Trench, who produced this film, did I'll Be Home for Christmas. I love it.
Heck yeah.
It.
Again, all on brand.
Yeah, it's very on brand. If you watch I'll Be Home for Christmas, it honestly, the pace
Same flavor.
is very similar to the same flavor.
Gore feels the same. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. Also, speaking of, kind of taking us off the Drew Barrymore topic. Speaking of TV movies, did anyone see the TV movie Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister? It was a Wonderful World of Disney film.
I remember the title, but no, I don't think
I know. I remember the title.
I missed like taping it on VHS, so I never actually saw it. But it fascinated me, just the concept, but also the fact that, and I find this even more interesting now, like it's based on a book by Gregory Maguire, aka the Wicked creator. So that was kind of his thing, was writing these alternate perspective books. So first he did I think Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister came before Wicked, but like those were his two big adult books, basically.
That was another thing that was really big in storytelling at the time was alternative storyline. I don't know if anybody here, I think I've brought this up on this show before because somehow it was relevant before, but has anyone here ever read the book as a kid, the Stinky Cheese Man?
No.
Yeah, so the Stinky Cheese Man was like the gingerbread man, but like an alternative telling. But the same man who did that also did this book of like the fairy tale baddies, like giving their versions of the stories. It was like
I forget the name of that one, but that was one of my favorite.
And it was the one like he did after the Stinky Cheese Man.
It might have been like Confessions of the Big Bad Wolf and other.
Yeah, I think it was. It was something like that. But that sort of thing was very big in the mid to late 90s, like for storytelling. And I feel like that really was a theme that we got. And honestly, you can see it in cinema too. I mean, like, right, you can see that. But like Wicked was happening around that time in novels. So yeah, I feel like that was really feeding into that.
Yeah. Yeah, and Stockard Channing plays the stepmother in that movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That sounds good. She sounds perfect for it.
Yeah, I found the trailer. It doesn't look as good as I want it to be. Yeah.
The director of this film, and I don't know how many of these track with this film, like he also did Anna and the King, Sweet Home Alabama, and Hitch.
Well,
Hitch is the one that kind of catches me up a little bit. I'm like,
what's her name is in Sweet Home Alabama too, the stepsister that we like.
Lipinski.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. You're right. Yep, you are so right. I don't know. This is like of all the those Sweet Home Alabama tracks, Anna and the King, but Hitch is the one that kind of catches me up. I'm like, huh? Come again?
Anna and the King throws me off. Granted, I probably saw that roughly when it came out as well. So if I revisited it now, it probably wouldn't be as serious and historical as I remember it being. So
the totally kind of stupid, but the director was also a dancer in the background of Grease 2, and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Nice.
Huh.
Nice.
Just kind of rando.
Interesting. I had a theory literally up until this moment that dancers made the best film directors. I don't believe that anymore.
It's over now.
It's over now. Well, yeah, Rob Marshall, one of my favorite directors, started as a dancer. Bob Fosse, like the movies he did, like Cabaret, are so beautifully filmic, and Sweet Charity as well. Like they understand movement and camera choreography and like seemingly storytelling in some capacity. Kenny Ortega, who did Hocus Pocus and High School Musical. But no, my theory is out the window now because of this guy. It's done. It's over. There we go. There it is. Any other thoughts on Drew Barrymore? Do we like her? Do we not like her?
I think it's a pretty flat acting in the role, but her tone somehow, the one that she picks to stick with, works fine. Like it's like you've chose this one tone for the whole movie, but it works, so it's okay. You picked the right tone, I guess.
Yeah.
And again, I thought that she could be overly dramatic at some times, but overall, I still love her. I don't know why. I can't not like.
Yeah.
I've loved her ever since E.T.
Classic. A classic. All right. Well then, who's ready for the game?
Game time.
Okay, what do we need for this one?
This one, just a thing to write with. It's going to be a fill in the blank. So I'm going to give you a quote from the movie, and you just have to fill in the blank and perform it as best as you can.
I don't have anything to write with. Oh no.
Do you have your phone?
Yeah.
You can use your notes thingy.
Okay.
Please hold.
That's what I'm gonna use. I had paper, but I didn't have a thing. I thought I had a thing.
Okay, I am ready.
Question. All right. So, how it will work is I will put the quote up On the screen, you can write down what you're filling in the blank with, and then one at a time, you have a chance to perform it. And if all of you are wrong, I give a point to whoever made me laugh the most. So if you don't know it, be funny. Here we go. I'm going to start with an easy one. I shall go down in history as blank. All right. Let's start
Okay.
with Net.
All right. I shall go down in history as the man who opened a door.
Miriam?
I shall go down in history as the man who opened a door.
Lord?
I shall go down in history as the man who opened the door.
Well done. You all get a point. Next. I suppose you're wondering why anyone my age would request blank.
This would be a really great, like,
I know, right?
naughty Mad Libs.
Yeah, man.
I'm here for naughty Mad Libs. If you don't know it, like I said, make me laugh. All right. We'll go the opposite direction this time. We'll start with Lauren whenever you're ready.
This is totally wrong, but I said, I suppose you're wondering why anyone my age would request freedom for my survey.
Oh, that's nice. Miriam?
I suppose you're wondering why anyone my age would request wings for a ball.
Ooh.
Oh.
Jeanette?
I suppose you're wondering why anyone my age would request an escort. I changed my words to something more family friendly. Yeah.
Well, Jeanette gets the laughter point. It was, I suppose you're wondering why anyone my age would request an audience with the authors of children's stories.
Oh, I knew it was that first scene, and I couldn't freaking remember what the hell she said.
Yeah, it's the Rose DeWitt Baker lady, but French and royal. She's like, I suppose you're wondering why you're here to hear my story, but the little Cinder girl. Yes. I really don't like her, and I have no reason not to. She's fine, but I just...
I don't find a purpose for that first scene at all.
Don't find a... Yep.
Nope. Not a single clue why we needed to start in the present day, and we couldn't just start with the story. I don't know.
Brings out the ugly slipper. And, well, because she has to tell us at the end that they lived happily ever after, but the more important thing is they lived.
I'd love to know if it was written that way before Titanic came out, or if Titanic made them do that.
That was also another thing, I guess, was just nostalgic old women talking about their past.
Yeah. I'm like, what? No.
Next. Blank is only something they do in England.
Again, adult Mad Libs.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I know. Can I go?
Oh,
Yeah. Let's go.
Divorce is only something they do in England.
Lord?
wait, what was it? What was the one? I mean, what did you say, Miriam?
No.
I was about to tell you.
You don't get to look at her notes.
God, I know I know this period. I just can't remember what they said. Oh my God. I'm gonna say the hokey pokey. The hokey pokey is only something they do in England.
Jeanette?
Shagging is only something they do in England.
It was divorce, so Miriam gets the point, but Jeanette and Lauren, you both get points in my heart. So there we go.
But wait, what was the word? I couldn't hear.
It was divorce.
Divorce.
Oh,
Something they do in
divorce. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember that. That was
the king
what's
and
her
queen.
name? That the queen. Yeah.
The very Irish
mom
looking
got
French
it.
queen. Yes. Next. How can anyone love a blank in their blank?
How dare you?
God, again, I know where this is, but I just
Oh, this is like one of my favorite
I know
lines
it.
in the
Can
whole
I do it?
freaking. Yes, yeah.
No, Miriam, you go last because we know, guys. I don't want them to get ideas.
I got it. I
I want
actually
to see how
know it.
dirty they're going to be, or how right.
No, I actually know this one.
Okay.
I like this line.
Okay, let's start with Jeanette.
Okay. How can anyone love a pebble in their shoe?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that is right.
What did you
That
say,
is
Lauren?
right. I said, how can anyone love a pig in their blanket?
I love pigs and blank.
Now I'm hungry. That's good. I like
Oh
Miriam?
my god.
How can anyone love a pebble in their shoe?
And then Drew cries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
sad.
that line. I just couldn't remember what it was.
Next. Oh, I personally think this is one of the funniest parts of the movie. I wanted to be the blank.
Oh God, what a show! Oh yeah. Okay, I know this one.
I'm going to put something.
This one actually has the adult word in it, and it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start with Miriam on this one.
What was the costume? I don't remember. I wanted to be the butterfly.
Right, Lauren?
Apologies to your mother, but I wanted to be the bottom.
Said no one ever.
Okay, Jeanette.
I wanted to be the peacock.
It was Peacock. Lauren, I'm going to break the rules and give you a point because you went there. So there we go.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Next. They made her wear the horse. That's my favorite.
Which is my favorite costume in the whole movie.
Oh, it's great. She's
Melanie
adorable.
Lipinski's
Yeah, that was-
horse costume. I wanted that headpiece so bad. I love
And
that.
her kindred spirit is also a horse. It's adorable.
They're
Yeah,
so cute.
that was
I love
cute.
them.
Next, I shall simply deny you the crown and blank.
Oh, yeah.
We'll start with Lauren this time.
Wait. Oh my god, I can't remember. I shall simply deny you the crown and go fishing.
All right. Miriam?
I shall simply deny you the crown and live forever.
Oh yeah, that is. Oh, man.
Jeanette?
I just deny you the crown and live forever.
Live forever. There we go. How French of him. Next, your features are so blank.
Oh, yeah.
Start with Jeanette this time.
Your features are so masculine.
Miriam?
Your features are so masculine.
Lauren?
I'm trying to go. It wasn't masculine that I was coming out. Your features are so rounded. That's what I was.
Round. Yes.
She would say that. She
Yeah.
would. Next. A life without blank is no life at all. Life without blank is no life at all.
I mean, it sounds
Lauren?
cliche.
I'm gonna. I don't know what it is. So it's a life without sex is no life at all.
Nice. Miriam?
A life without love is no life at all.
All right.
Same. Life without love is no
It
life
was
at all.
love. Lauren, you were so close. You were so
Same difference. Same difference.
Same thing. Same thing.
If you're living life correctly, Lauren, yes.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that's the subtext of this whole movie, basically. So, next, my father was an excellent blank, monsieur. He blanked me well.
Oh, okay. This one I know. This one I know.
This one could also be a funny, dirty one.
It would be really dirty.
Let's start with Miriam.
My father was an excellent swordsman, monsieur, and he taught me well.
Jeanette?
I put my father was an excellent sword fighter, monsieur. He taught me well.
Lauren?
Yeah, my father was an excellent swordsman. My father was an excellent swordsman, monsieur. He trained me well. That's what I said.
I actually have to look it up because I can't remember now. Swordsman and taught. So yes, it's Miriam. There we go. All right. And final question of the regular round. The blank is one of God's noblest creatures. All right. We'll start with Jeanette.
The horse is one of God's noblest creatures, Jacqueline.
Miriam?
I was gonna say the ass is one of God's noblest creatures.
Depends on how noble your ass is.
Valid. Lauren?
I also said the horse is one of God's noblest creatures.
It is the horse. All right. Our points are, hold on. Lauren has 4. Miriam has 7. Jeanette has 8. How many points do we want to wager for the bonus round for double jeopardy? All of them? Okay.
All of
I'm
them.
going all in.
Miriam?
All of them. Let's do it.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Yes, I'll ask you to write down this answer. Still don't know what it will be. Oh, wait, no. I think I know. Hold on. I just have to pull up this. Okay, we've been calling Angelica Houston's character the stepmother, but what is her character's proper name in this film?
Oh God. Okay, well, I know her prefix.
It's probably like just on the tip of everyone's tongue, like
I
just.
know.
All right, is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, we'll go this way. We'll start with Lauren.
I said the Baroness de Rodmiga.
Okay, Miriam.
The Baroness Rodmigla Jebek. I can't
All right,
remember.
Jeanette.
I just said Baroness Bertha.
So Lauren and Miriam were both close. I feel like Miriam was closer.
DeGent.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
I will concede to her.
it was.
It's
It was
that first name. Yeah, Rodmilla.
Rodmilla de Ghent.
Again. Okay.
I feel like you said something close to Rodmilla.
You said something Ela. I heard an Ela,
Yeah.
and then
I did say Rodmiga. I said Rodmia, but I didn't get de Ghent, even though I should have known because that was the name of what's her name? The other daughter, blah blah de Ghent.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name again? Marjorie.
Gabriella. Oh, there's Jacqueline
Marguerite.
and Gabriella, right?
Marguerite de Ghent.
Oh, Marguerite. That's what it is. Jacqueline and Marguerite.
Anyway, our winner's Miriam. Woo!
Yay!
Woo!
Congratulations.
Woo-hoo!
The fairest of them all. Long fairy tale, but still. We go
I'll
with
take it.
Nice. All right. Closing thoughts on Ever After. Closing statements. For me, movie not as bad as I thought it was. Still my least favorite Cinderella movie, but it has merit. There we go. And it's a nice little 90s time capsule. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jeanette.
I feel like it is a comfort movie for people who have seen it in their youth, and for anyone who has not seen it before, it's worth watching because you might really like it. So yeah, I think everybody should give it a try. It's not bad. It's just not spectacular. It's good, and if you grew up with it, like for Miriam and I, it's going to be irreplaceable. So
Well said. Miriam? Oh, muted.
Still one of my favorites. Not my favorite Cinderella, but it's definitely in the top 5 of Cinderella movies for me. Love the costumes. I also forgot to talk about Drew Barrymore's premiere dress, which is also one of those dresses that has impacted me for a lifetime. It was they call it the 50 handkerchief dress.
Find it.
And it was for a long time they didn't know who designed it. They thought it was John Galliano, but
Here we go.
it turns out it was not. It was hang on. There's a temper tantrum happening. One second.
Yeah, I'm looking up this dress. It's not what I expected, but it's very nice. It's a very nice dress. There we go.
You can't. The lighting is weird, but it's blue at the bottom. It's like an orangey color at the top, and it's like Renaissance colors. It's and it's a handkerchief dress, so it's very flowy, for lack of a better word.
And it also, but it has the corset, so it kind of was like giving like a hint at the movie. Like she was referencing the movie without like going strictly for that exactly. So it was the 50 scarves dress. They thought it was John Galliano, but it was actually Balmain. And it took them a long time to figure out that mystery. And love it. Or no, excuse me, it was Ferragamo.
There was no document, like Drew didn't have a note.
No, they Vogue had to do like a lot of research to figure out who it actually was. It was Ferragamo, and then Drew was like, "Oh yeah, it was," which is a very Drew thing to do. So. Yeah, but anyway, this dress, like again, it influenced a whole host of several years of prom dresses. Everybody loved this dress. It was like the scarves on top, the corset on top, and then underneath it was like a sparkly tulle. So it was like very fun and different.
Yeah.
And let's bring it back, people. I loved it so much.
Let's do it. I mean, I'm not going to wear it, but I respect anyone else who wants to.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Maybe I will. Who knows? We'll see. Lauren, closing thoughts?
Ever after.
Yes.
I, despite my, things that I did, like the Leonardo da Vinci thing and, some other little problems, I still love the film. If somebody said, you want to watch Ever After, I'd say, sure. If it were on TV late at night or whatever, or I didn't have anything to do, I'd watch it. I just think that it's a sweet film. Definitely a 90s film, but hey, we all lived through the 90s. And
good time.
I just thought, again, love Drew Barrymore. I love the Jacqueline character and the way that they made her more sympathetic. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well said. Yeah, I agree. I think it's it's a fun movie. It's a cute movie. I do think it has a rewatchability factor. For me, I think it's largely because it's a very memeable movie on top of being just like, a fun, good time. I think I respect more so what it did for Cinderella adaptations going forward, specifically with stepsister treatment. Like give me more interesting dynamics between those characters in that family, which I think this is the first film to really do that. So that's my favorite thing here. So agreed. There we are. All right. And next week we're back for the Kenneth Branagh Cinderella movie 2015, the most beautiful dress to ever be put on screen. We will be looking at. Well, maybe it's not, but I feel like it is. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get there next week. It's blue. It should be silver, but also we'll get there next week. All right. It's that time. Tell everyone who you are, what you do, and where we can find you. We'll start with Lauren.
All right. Hi. I do have a YouTube channel. You can watch some of my back episodes on that. Try to figure out what I'm going to do with the channel without my cousin who passed away. But in the meantime, I'm showcasing my toy collection. As you can see, I have a lot of toys in the background, and that's just there. It's called Lauren's Toy Box. You can find me on Instagram. Threads, Blue Sky, Lemonade, and TikTok at Lauren's Toy Box. That's it.
Thank you, Lauren.
All right. You can find me at the Churro Fund on Instagram, and I'm also on We Like Theme Parks podcast. Our new episode comes out tomorrow, and we're talking about Epic Universe. So
Yes.
everybody come hang out. We didn't get to go, but we talk about everything we're excited about in Epic Universe. So come check us out at We Like Theme Parks.
Woo.
That's it.
Hey. Yeah, so like Miriam said, tomorrow you should check out the episode. We're talking about our top 5 favorite things we're excited about. I know you can watch a million people right now, but if you'd like to hear what we're excited about, you can come listen to us. And then you can catch me here next week talking about my favorite Cinderella adaptation, which is the 2015 Cinderella adaptation. And I feel like we'd be doing Into the Woods if we hadn't already done Into the Woods. So yeah, because that's the one of my other favorite ones. But yeah, we should check us out here next week and do this again. So yeah, and check me out on Instagram, TinkerJ787. Why not do that?
Why
too.
not? Do it. Do the thing. All right. And oh no. There I am. Okay, yes. And if you're watching, this is my channel. Thank you so much for joining us again tonight, everyone. My name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees. Same time next week, we will be discussing the Kenneth Branagh Cinderella movie, which for me is an interesting case because my relationship with that movie is almost the opposite of this one. I didn't love the Kenneth Branagh film going like when I first saw it, and I've grown to love it more and more with every rewatch. So I'm excited to revisit it and see what I think. Join us then. And in the meantime, please watch my videos and go listen to We Like Theme Parks because they're going to be talking about Epic Universe. And that's been my whole personality the last 3 days. I've watched like 6 hours worth of Epic Universe content. And it's all people showing the exact same things, but like I'm going to watch at least another 6 hours because it looks so good. I almost just want to be financially irresponsible and buy a 1-day ticket and not book a hotel and just fly to Orlando and go to the park and fly home. That would be crazy though, right? I can't do that. Can I? I'm not going to do that. Anyway, see you next week, everyone. How do I end this?